Saik'uz territory is logged out. We have no more old growth trees. Well, with all the fire, the beetle, and industry coming in there, we have nothing left in our territory.
Our territory is over 1 million hectares, and about 800,000 hectares of that is forested land.
It's just erasing our culture and our heritage and the way we were with the land.
When you look out in our territory, all I see is devastation. 50, 60 years of logging has impacted our territory.
They've changed the landscape. Our landscape used to contain a good diversity for our people. We had moose, we had all kinds of animals, fish, and now it's not like that.
You have to go out there and look for themselves. Picture tells 1,000 words, right?
Clear cutting hurts me. It really hurts me.
There's going to be nothing left. We'll drive ourselves into the ground.
Well, we do a pre-harvest, which is before the logging cut blocks and all that happen. We come and we do a walkthrough.
And we have maps. We put GPS points and pictures. We have 140 and 210 and 211.
140 and 206.
Block numbers. There's like 4 in the area, all down along this little gully. We point out wildlife features, drainages, and important areas for the land.
Look at the dead trees, the live trees, what trees are here.
And then we find the places that we would like to save, and we make our little ideas and try to bring them to the loggers and see what they can do. Like leaving areas for moose, leaving trees, leaving riparian areas like bigger buffers around lakes and meadows and streams.
I don't see very much of it out here. You could talk about it all they want before they log it, but when they do log it, most of those little tiny recommendations we make don't come to life.
We've asked them to stay out of the drainage where they put their road, made the water run that way instead of down to this little lake here.
It changed quite a bit through over-harvesting. And what I've seen over time was that there was a lot of waste. And the mechanical harvesting was just devastating to the land.
The land is drying up and dying. The creeks and lakes are not useful anymore.
It'd be nice for them to leave little areas that have the moss and have the little trees to shade it, you know.
Will help rebuild itself quicker.
There's a lot of little things like that that we fight for, and there's like maybe a quarter of what we asked.
There are some blocks that we advocated really hard for to get some changes, and unfortunately they weren't implemented. It is in caribou habitat, some very important streams. It wasn't just the recent cut blocks, but also the various stages of cut blocks that have happened over time and really changing that ecosystem that was once there.
There's no more berries, there's no more medicines that we can collect in areas like this, and more log, the less we have. We gotta travel a lot farther to get what we need.
When I was very young, my mom used to go out our back door on the reserve and go maybe about 200 feet to gather medicines. Now we go a couple hours into the mountains.
It brings a tear to your eye to see this. And it also brings a tear to my eye to see that Our whole territory is turning into one big pine tree plantation. This we want to change. It can't be like this anymore.
It really leaves you in a sense of hopelessness. What they're doing is legal. You can meet with the companies and share in depth your concerns. When they don't get implemented, you just don't feel respected. You don't feel like your concerns are taken seriously enough.
We're not going to take this anymore. We are not going to take this anymore where people come in and pillage the land and leave it barren and walk out of here. It's not going to happen.
The day of just doing whatever you want to First Nations is done. This is a new generation. My grandparents and parents' time, they were more go with the flow, and they were trained like to not make trouble. Me, I'm a rebel.
We had jurisdiction over this land before Canada was even a country, before British Columbia was a province. We still have jurisdiction because this land is unceded.
Until we actually lose a war, cede and release our territory, it's ours. You can't steal it, but that's basically what's happened.
With colonization and residential school, it really put our people on a reserve. We were forced to be there.
I was a residential school survivor too.
Got separated from my family and my parents like everybody else did through the Jack residential school.
We're lucky we survived.
The band didn't really have much say over how the lands were managed.
Today you see the social issues that we have, and people just are hurt and people have a very hard time.
Gotta dream bigger. We should have equity in projects. We should have some ownership of what happens around us, especially if it's on our own landscape.
Things are changing, and we are going to have a say in what happens in our territory. If we don't have a relationship, we're not going to consent. They don't have our consent to be in our territory. We're going to sit down and we're going to look at how is this project going to affect our landscape, how is it going to affect our community, and then the future.
Reconciliation is everybody's responsibility. It's not just, we're good. It's creating an equal space for us. It's having that authority and jurisdiction to say how our lands will be managed.
We're not opposed to forestry, but want to make sure it's done in a way that's environmentally sustainable. Sustainability is a big part of it for us. I think we have a very positive working relationship with Nechako Lumber, have had for a number of years, but that's not the case with all of the forest companies in the region.
We've built a relationship, and that's the most important thing for us. Once you build that relationship and you have trust, then you know what, you could work together. We can work together, I believe that.
They've been incredibly open. They've been patient in terms of helping us understand what their objectives are and what's important to them. At the same time, we spent the time to explain what's important to us and to go on the journey together.
We have a joint planning process in our agreement with Nechako to ensure that Saik'uz stewardship or environmental stewardship principles are adhered to.
As holders of rights and title on the land base, we have to make sure that we're working to preserve their values on the land.
We have a lot of members employed here, creating additional economic benefit to the community.
When we become partners and we're able to take care of our own, we could build our houses, we could build our health stations, we could build our daycares.
We've been able to put together a partnership that I think will stand the test of time and positions both parties for long-term success.
Our interest is that we can work together to ensure that forestry is here for the millennium.
We're in a new age now. We can't log like we're in the 50s anymore. This is 2021. We're smarter, we know better about the land. We have better equipment. All we have to do is do it.
Who's doing the layout? Who's running the ribbon? Do they see what we see when they're doing it?
My hope is that we can get people thinking about biodiversity more and quit planting plantations of pine.
Having our people feeling safe on the land, feeling respected, being able to come out here and feel pride in our territory.
Only thing I hope is that everybody works together, because we have to think about our little children.
What we're trying to do here is for the children of Saik'uz, so that they can grow up and live a happy, healthy life and enjoy a quality of life that other people get to enjoy.
I'm passionate about it because I don't want my children and the next generation to have to do it. At least I know that they won't have to have the same fight I did.
They're our future leaders. I want them to know who they are, their language, their culture, and that they be proud of who they are. Big companies are not gonna, they'll be moved on, you know, but we're gonna be here forever.
You know, we don't want to be the ones to tell them, oh, this used to be like this. This is what it was like in our day, like our grandparents are now telling us. We want to be able to say, look at what we did. Look at the difference that we made.